Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be basically just going over 10 things that I wish I knew before I became a graphic designer. I feel like a lot of people are unclear about every little situation and small things about being a designer entails, and these are some of the things that I wish I would have known beforehand before getting into it. They're not necessarily bad, doesn't mean that I don't enjoy being a graphic designer, but it's stuff that would have helped me progress faster and earlier on. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into that list. So the first one that I think is really important, not only to young designers, but to anyone starting out, and it's that there is no correct path to becoming a graphic designer. There isn't one way that you should do things. You know, there's people, you can go to college, you can learn things from YouTube, you can be self-taught, you can have a mentor. There's just a ton of different ways that it can be done, and you don't need to be forced to go to a 4-year school or whatever it may be that's going to cost a lot of money just to dip your feet in. You know, you want to make sure that you enjoy something before you base your entire life or career around it. For me personally, I went to college, and I don't think that it was a necessary choice, but I really think that it helped a lot with developing relationships with other students, group critiques and things like that, and just being in the environment helps you strive. But if you're someone that is very self-disciplined and has free time and is just dedicated to something that they want to do, you can very much learn through different social medias, courses, YouTube, self-taught, and all that. So don't let anyone tell you that there's a specific way that you have to do these things. The next thing is that working with clients takes a whole nother set of skills, and those are pretty much commonly known as soft skills. And it took me a while to learn that, and I really wish I would have known that before, because knowing how to talk to a client, knowing that the way to treat people, having a lot of respect for other people, and just being able to talk to someone in a reasonable way and being able to email properly, those go a long way with getting jobs, working with clients. And it doesn't have all to do with just how good of a designer you are. You know, 2 designers can go into a client pitch or an interview. One could be the better designer, but if they left a worse impression, they're gonna have a lot harder time convincing the client or the person hiring the job that they're the better option, regardless of the work. A couple things that helped me with my soft skills would be these 2 books. They're not necessarily design related, but I think they're very helpful for any individual, really. The 4 Agreements. This book's really good. It's all about just pretty much helps you be a better person, you know. The 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, do not take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And I think those things are something you should live by, not only in your design career, but just to be a all-around great human being. And I'll link this in the description if you want to read that. Another one is by John Joseph. Shout out to the Cro-Mags, super cool hardcore band. And this one's called The PMA Effect: How a Positive Mental Attitude can make you the badass you were born to be. It just really helped me with looking at things through a positive perspective, and that translates to having the better soft skills with clients, and it helps you just all around come off as more confident, kind, and just an all around great human being. This one is actually really important, and it took me a while to realize, is that you can share your work at any point. You don't have to be this acclaimed designer or someone that has it all figured out to share your work. When I first started out, a lot of my stuff sucked really bad, and I was nervous and I didn't want to share stuff. But once I started sharing things, yeah, that work wasn't that good, and I don't think that it's a good representation of me as a designer now. But it helped me build a network, it helped me interact with other creatives online, and just it helped me all around grow, because you're getting feedback, you meet people. So go to Instagram, Twitter, Behance, all that stuff. Start sharing your work, because the worst thing that could happen is someone doesn't like it or someone gives you good feedback, and either way, it's all good. And you can always delete it later and replace it with better stuff. And as far as with your portfolio, sharing your work, same thing. Put what you have in there for the time being. You want to have something, but as you get more projects and as you get better as a designer or any type of creative, start replacing the older projects with better ones, and then your work overall will just start to look better and better. And just hand select the best stuff. You don't have to put everything in there. So this one is, I like to call it software matters as much as what you make of it. And I'm saying that because the design community, video editing, animation, all that stuff specifically, everyone is kind of set in their ways with certain programs. You know, as a designer, I've always used the Adobe suite, so Illustrator, Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, not because I think it's necessarily the best, but because I'm most familiar with it. But there's a lot of good options nowadays for designers that are cheaper and makes it so Adobe won't have a monopoly on everything. So you can check out Affinity Designer, Canva, GIMP, all that stuff that's free or cheaper. Procreate's awesome app for the iPad. I'll try to link all that stuff in the description so you can check it out. And if anyone has any advice for those other programs, since I mostly use Adobe, feel free to drop it in the comments and share your advice and what you like about those programs compared to other ones. So this one is, no one's going to make things happen for you. You know, you have to network, you have to do collaborations, and you want to reach out to mentors. And once you get to that level, be a mentee to other people. You know, for a while, like, it looks from the outside looking in, you see all these talented designers and different creatives seeing all these really cool things happen for them. And you think, you know, can't wait till I get offered these opportunities. And yeah, sometimes people reach out to people once they get to, you know, a certain pedigree or level and they're asked to do these things. But one thing I've learned is reaching out to people and just being like very open and transparent about your work has taught me more than anything school has ever taught me, and it's benefited me greatly. I've met some of my favorite designer friends and people I look up to and mentors all through reaching out, networking, and that's both gotten me clients, jobs, and I've returned the favor. I've gotten other people clients, I've gotten other people jobs, and building a community is very important, and it's not going to happen just for you. You need to go out and actively seek those things. And speaking of that, if you want to join the Discord, check it out below in the description. We post a ton of stuff like that in there, and I just want to help create a community for a bunch of designers, and I think that's one thing that can help. Number 6, so treat your projects that you're working on as if they are for a real client. You know, you can create one-off posters and animations and videos, and I love doing that stuff myself and posting it on Instagram. But when you're creating something, treat it as if it was working for a client or something official, because before you start working with a ton of clients or you have a ton of job experience, you're going to need stuff to put into your portfolio, right? So you want to be able to have stuff that looks good and looks like it was professionally done, regardless if it was just a self-initiated project, if it was something you did with a friend. Treat it as if it were a real job or a real client, because you'll take it more serious, you'll do more work when you need revisions, and if you need feedback, always reach out to someone who you respect their opinion. You want to find people that you know are going to be honest and not just yes man you. And if you treat it like that, they can play, you know, kind of the client and help you push back on some of your ideas and refine it and just make it better. It's important to have those things, even if you haven't worked with real clients or worked an official design job. You want to get in that habit of treating things like that. This one, don't focus too much on having a style right away. I myself don't even feel like I've found a unique, specific style to me. I think I do an array of different things that are in my styles. I wouldn't be worried about that. Worry about doing a lot of work, worry about becoming better, worry about learning the tools that you're going to use. Don't focus on that, because you don't want to get stuck in a style anyway if it's not perfect. You know, the style should come organically, and maybe people start to see you and people like proclaim that you have this style. You don't want to say this is my style specifically. You want to leave it open so you can learn a bunch of things and try a bunch of things, because you have your whole life to have your style. So just experiment. Number 8, this one's really important to me because it caused me a lot of imposter syndrome and doubt and overall insecurities early on in my graphic design career. And it's that you don't technically need to be good at drawing. I'll be the first person to tell anyone that I'm kind of a terrible drawer. I'm all right at sketching for logos and concepts and getting my ideas out on paper, but they never look like how the finished product always looks much better. And if you're gonna be an illustrator or someone that focuses heavily on like character design or things like that, probably you need to be good at drawing, you know, because that heavily goes into it. But there's so many types of design, and you don't specifically need to be really good at drawing. So you can always get better in practice if that's something you want to do, and you can always pursue other avenues in design. So never let your insecurities about drawing hold you back from becoming a designer. This last one kind of goes into this one, and it's that there's a lot of niches in design. Like I said, if you don't have to be good at drawing, because you can get into web design, UX design, merch design, logo design, all these things. Yeah, drawing will benefit it, but there's tons of different niches, and that's something that I didn't realize for a while. I thought everything graphic design was either you make logos or you make a website or maybe you make posters. But it's not just that. We have this whole new wave of things. We have UX design and user interface design, web design, which is like such a booming opportunity right now, and like all the tech space and everything. You have traditional graphic designers, you have people who make album art, you have logos. It's just, there's so many different things that you can pursue. And the earlier you realize that, you can start experimenting with all different kinds of stuff, and it'll help you in the long run. It'll help you establish your skills, the tools you use. I think for me as a designer, the next kind of frontier is getting more into like motion and 3D, and that's just another type of design. There's all kinds of things. So just look out there, check everything out, and figure out what you like and just roll with it. This last one is a little bit unrelated, I guess, to purely design, but it's something that I wish I knew when I first started out. Is you need to learn about taxes and budgeting and how any type of self-employment works. If you're working for a job where you get a W-2 and they take out your taxes and all that for you, then cool. That's just like a normal job, like other jobs are treated. But if you're working self-employed, you need to know, like, you're going to have to pay taxes on that money that you're making. You're going to have to do 1099 contracts and all that stuff. So I might make another video about that in the future, but the short term, what I like to do, if you're doing self-employed freelance work, let's say you make $60,000 that year. I save 30% of that every time I get paid. Put it away, put it into a separate bank account called taxes, whatever. So that at the end of the year, when the man comes and says, give me all my money, you got it saved. You're not worried about using the money that you thought was yours to buy, your $10 coffee or the newest iPad, whatever. And then budgeting, I can link this in the description. One app I like to use is Mint. Shows you everything that you use. Not a sponsor or anything. I just started using it recently and I really like it. And then a classic I use is just my Wave apps, like I spoke about in the contracts video. Use that to figure out all the purchases I made. Put that into an Excel sheet. That way, at the end of the year, you can write off all the business things you did. You bought your computer, you bought that coffee on that meeting with the client, you pay for internet, all that stuff I didn't know you can write off, and it's really helpful. And there's tons of resources online to learn more about that. So make sure you know how to budget, you know about taxes, and you can then worry about creating and being an artist, and the money can just, you won't have as much like worry about it. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope these things helped you. Let me know in the comments if there's any other advice you think people should know about being a designer, and pitfalls and insecurities, imposter syndrome, all that stuff that a lot of us go through. And I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out, helps me grow, and I appreciate all of you. Check out the Discord community. We got everyone in there. Bunch of fun stuff, designers sharing work, feedback, and all that. If you really enjoyed it, I'd love it if you check out the Patreon. It supports me, helps me make more videos, and helps me hopefully help more of you. So you help me, I help you, yada yada. But thank you again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.